Minnesota Vikings might finally start getting active in the whole offseason trading free agency game, but not the move that Vikings fans are necessarily looking for. Ben Goessling, Star Tribune, go. As the Vikings try to sort out their cap situation, sources continue to say that they've been trying to trade Danielle Hunter, who's got an $18 million rooster bonus due on Sunday, the fifth day of the new league year. Hunter has a $25.83 million cap figure, and the Vikings need to clear space to make their new deals official. So, things that make you go, Now, I do have faith in Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell, but if they start off their tenure by extending Kirk Cousins and punting on Danielle Hunter, that's rough. That's rough. And now we are hearing some scuttlebutt that Danielle not necessarily happy with Andre Patterson being shown the door. He's been his defensive line coach his entire tenure with the Vikings. Of course, is a very close relationship, but I think that is what it is. And I don't think that it's not necessarily about the money with Danielle this offseason. Unlike last offseason, by the way, when he was coming off of neck surgery and then the Vikings restructured his deal. So the Vikings would have a S or get off the pot moment with that $18 million rooster bonus due. So I don't think it's about that, because if it was, then we would start seeing Danielle being cryptic on social media like last offseason, or demands from the agent through NFL insiders, like how Danielle's agent used Rap Sheet like a sock puppet last offseason. We haven't seen any of that. And he's due around $19.4 million in new money this year between his roster bonus as well as his base salary, which would put him in top 10 in average in terms of edge rushers. So I don't think it's about that this year. And I think that the Vikings absolutely should keep him. And I know some Vikings fans are like, well, he's injury prone. Well, the main concern was the neck. And I think that the pec injury that cost him most of 2021, that's a red herring. The torn pec could have happened to anyone at any time. The neck issue was the biggest question. How would he respond from that herniated disc in his neck? He showed in 2021 he was perfectly healthy, ready to go, and then he had that torn pec, but it is what it is. But he's shown that the neck is healthy. Danielle Hunter is only 27. He's barely scratching the surface on his prime, and he is an elite difference maker on the edge, both against the run and against the pass. And he's the youngest player ever to 50 sacks, consistently among the league leaders in pressures, and also isn't afraid to get his hands dirty, stopping the run. So I think that you need him. You do. And even though the Vikings are changing up schemes, going from a 4-3 to a multiple front, eventually a 3-4, you can play him at 5 tech, you can play him at stand-up outside linebacker, you can use him, right? So you can certainly build a position for Danielle Hunter and guys that can get after the quarterback. And I don't get it. Like, if the Vikings are just actively trying to trade him and get rid of him, that would be one thing. Or are they just fielding calls, gauging the market? Hey, if we get above X, say 2 first-round picks and change for Danielle Hunter, then we'll move him. But if we don't get that, then we won't, right? So it's sort of akin to Kirk Cousins, where reports are the Vikings did get some phone calls about Kirk Cousins, but if the other teams are offering, say, the Carson Wentz package as opposed to the Russell Wilson package, I fully understand it. But here's the thing, like, baseline 2 ones minimum for Danielle Hunter, a superstar edge rusher who, yes, the neck is going to be good to go, pecs are whatever, he's going to be perfectly fine, and you get him at 27 years young. 2 ones minimum. But then for the Vikings, even depending on where the ones are, I mean, you're still going to be hoping, just champing at the bit, that those ones turn out to be a player that is half as good as Danielle Hunter. That's always the trade-off, right? And you can spread out his cap it, his $26.12 million cap it, by converting his rooster bonus into a signing bonus. Play this year and he's fully healthy and elite. Give him all of the money. Give him TJ Watt money. Don't really care at that point, because you're not going to get rich by just giving away your best players. Like, you're not going to win games, you're not going to win silverware, you're not going to stack up hardware just by giving away elite players in their prime. So I don't get it. And I understand that the Vikings last year were able to cobble together the second most sacks in the league without Danielle for most of it, without Everson for some of it as well. But I think that's a bit of an anomaly. Like, just saying that, hey, we can have this group of guys, and if you take away one of the best edge rushers in the game, that makes him better. No, I just don't see it. And even though the Vikings do have some solid depth along the defensive line with DJ Wanham, Patrick Jones in year 2, Janaris Robinson in year 2, Kenny Willekes, I think in year 3 can do a little something. They're so much better with Danielle, and it isn't even close. So I think the Vikings need to work something else out. They can clear up cap space by, like we mentioned, by converting Danielle Hunter's roster bonus into a signing bonus, restructuring Thielen, a pay cut or restructure Harrison, restructuring Dalvin Cook. So find your money elsewhere. Stop bothering Danielle Hunter. Keep him in purple long term. And so after the Kirk Cousins extension, I doubled down, reiterated, hey, Kevin O'Connell's worked with Kirk Cousins before. Kwesi obviously weighed the options, and then they decided to roll with Kirk for the short term. But if they just give away Danielle, like if Danielle is traded for a second and a future third, I mean, we're gonna riot straight up. I mean, just I don't get it. I would not understand it at all. But your thoughts are thoughts. The Vikings reportedly are trying to trade Danielle Hunter. Great. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.